This week on Close Stalkers, we watched Season 5, Episode 11, The Conversion. Wake up.
I shouldn't have taken those.
So, Katie.
Hi.
How did you like The Conversion?
Can I say something that might be controversial?
Oh, how controversial might it be?
I think this is an example of the perfect episode.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to make a case for that, or you're just going to throw that out?
No, that's it.
Put it up on the vision board and somehow it'll come true.
Every storyline is funny.
Mm.
They interrelate. Mm-hmm. They're tight. They're not weirdly paced. Mm. I laughed out loud a couple times. Nobody's overused. Mm-hmm. Nothing is too ridiculous, but everything's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
Perfect Seinfeld episode.
Wow.
Did you like it?
I did.
It'd be so funny if you said no.
No. While we were watching, I was like, it felt like a long episode because there was like so much going on, but like in a good way.
Yeah. As opposed to the last one, which was like fast cuts, too much happening.
Exactly. It did like the direction of like the interplay between the storyline. Yeah. Like you weren't like jumping back and forth too quickly.
I wasn't lost.
But you weren't also like in something so long that it got like boring or superfluous.
Yeah.
So this episode was written by Bruce Kirschbaum.
Who?
I meant to look up if he'd written any other episodes.
I thought for sure you would say Larry David and Jerry Seinfeld because it felt genuinely funny.
So he wrote 3 Seinfeld episodes. One that we've seen already, season 4's The Old Man. He didn't write that. He developed the story for it.
Okay.
This is his first episode that he wrote. He was a producer on a lot of television shows, but he did write some episodes as well.
What is the next one that he writes?
Season 6, Episode 11, The Switch.
Oh, okay.
It was directed by Tom Schronis. It aired on December 16th, 1993. So you said that it might be a controversial take that you like this episode. Screen Crush ranked it as the 16th best Seinfeld episode.
Yep.
And Vulture.com had it as the 12th.
There you go. I'm not wrong.
Well, 12th of the...
I finally learned what a kavorka is. You've been saying it every 6 episodes or so.
So, I mean, we explain now how Kramer, with his sublime buttocks...
Yeah. He is the lure of the animal.
You know, he can pull women back from homosexuality. He can pull them back from their devotion to the church. He has the animal magnetism.
But it's gone now.
Maybe.
I mean, I guess the stink wears off.
You gotta, like, bathe in vinegar every day.
Is it the stink or is it a spell?
Did he have that braid of garlic underneath his shirt?
So I wrote down when the priest is telling him what to get. I wrote down, this sounds like my borscht recipe.
Would you like to read the recap?
Sure. George wants to convert to Latvian Orthodox. A sister at the church finds Kramer irresistible. Jerry discovers fungicide in his girlfriend's apartment.
I give it a hard G. I'm fungicide.
You said hard G and then you put soft G on it.
Fungi is the J is the soft and G is the hard.
What? J sounds harder than G.
No, it's like a hard sound. G, G, G.
J, J, J.
Fungicide. You can just like mush it in your mouth, fungicide.
Yeah, because it's soft.
Yeah, that's soft. And fungicide is hard. I use a hard G. Fungicide.
You just... Okay. You switched it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I did not switch it. You shouldn't have taken those.
That's off the record.
Why don't we throw it back to last week and see how I did?
Say that again without making that noise in front of it, please. Let's throw it back to last week when I asked you if you remembered this episode.
You'll finally find out why Kramer is a Kavorka. How'd I do?
Oh my god, I think you nailed it. Who are the guest stars?
Thanks for asking, Katie. So we had K.E. Cooter, who was the old priest. Unfortunately passed away in 2003.
I'm not surprised he looked very old.
Yeah. He was born in 1925. He started acting in 1951.
He's Baba's age.
Yeah.
So not that old.
He was in The Last Starfighter. He was in Deep Space Nine. And he was in a movie from 1970 called Watermelon Man.
If you had told me he was a real Latvian Orthodox priest who just had some charisma, I would have believed you.
So I was going to bring this up later, but did you or would you believe that Bruce Kirschbaum, while writing the episode, just wanted like a funny name for a religion and picked Latvian Orthodox like out of the air, not realizing it was a real religion? And then received many letters thanking him for highlighting this lesser-known religion.
Well, there you go.
I was also going to...
All dozen Latvians watching Seinfeld wrote to him.
While we were watching the episode, I was going to ask, is this okay? They're kind of
I think the Latvian Orthodox faith comes off pretty clean and nice in this episode. Don't you think?
They instruct a man to bathe in vinegar and...
All religion has some woo-woo, hand-wavy, airy-fairy in it.
So Molly Hagan played Sister Roberta. She is in a show called Walker, which I believe is a remake of Walker, Texas Ranger.
Oh.
She was also in the movie Sully, the movie Election, and she was on the TV show Herman's Head. Tom Verica played the doctor that Elaine smooched with.
Podiatrist.
I should put a correction into IMDb. He was in How to Get Away with Murder, American Dreams, and Flags of Our Fathers.
Oh, those are things.
Kimberly Campbell played Tawny.
Also Prime Minister of Canada.
Mm-hmm. She was in Memento.
Wait, who's Tawny?
That was the woman that Jerry was smooching.
Oh, okay.
Memento, Dead at 21, and Jag.
Huh.
She, her IMDb page is pretty sparse, and the last thing that she was in was Memento.
Did she have an accent?
I don't think so. I think she just talked that way.
Okay. I thought she had a Latvian accent.
Tawny?
Yeah.
The one that Jerry was smooching
Yes. With? She sounded different. Not that that's bad.
Jana Marie Hupp played Sasha.
Who's that?
That was George's,
okay.
the woman for whom he is converting.
Okay.
She was in Independence Day, Barton Fink, and Ed.
There you go. So the first stand-up, Jerry's talking about how insecure doctors are and they need to have their diplomas up on the wall constantly. You're like, I'm a doctor, see?
Is that a regulation?
I think it is.
Yeah.
But I like seeing those because then I learn everybody's middle names.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah.
I also think it's interesting, oh, you went to school Blair.
Yeah.
Why did I say Blair?
We went to school Blair?
You went to school there.
And your middle name is Blair. Blair, male or female name? What do you think of first?
Oh, male.
Really?
Yeah.
We know a male Blair. Is that why?
The first person whom I met named Blair was a male.
I think because the first person I met who was named Blair was a woman. I always think woman's name.
Sasha, male or female?
Female. You?
Female as well. But I know we're hearing more and more of the male, Alexander, Sasha.
In Ukrainian, there's a different diminutive for Alexander. So I never heard that growing up.
Isn't Russian Alexander Sasha?
Yeah, I'm not Russian.
I know, but I'm just asking. It's Olish.
Yeah.
I converted for you.
Then why didn't we get married in a church?
Because you didn't want to. You know the pierogi store behind IKEA?
Yeah.
They sell T-shirts that say, "I'm Ukrainian by marriage."
I'm getting you one. I have to go back to IKEA to get one of those cucumber condoms.
We'll just leave that in with no context.
If you have one, you know what it is, and you know that it is key to a fresh cucumber.
So, finishing up the stand-up, Jerry says, like, they put you in the tiny little waiting room, they tell you to take off your pants, and then the person comes in, they're wearing pants, and you know, obviously their opinion trumps yours. You know, in an argument, pants versus no pants is no contest.
Yeah.
Do you think that's a slight dig on women doctors wearing skirts?
No, I didn't think that at all.
No.
It did make me think of the joke when, you know, a woman goes in to see the doctor. Every woman, like, puts her bag on a chair, pants.
You gotta hide that underwear.
Gotta hide the underwear in there. Mm-hmm. Doctor's gonna come in and be like, "These yours? Mm-hmm. Disgusting."
So George is out to dinner with Sasha, apparently.
They're at La Boîte en Bois again.
Oh, is it? Mm.
Well, he brought the risotto woman there.
Instructing her not to get the risotto, but to get the lobster.
She seems nuts.
This whole scene starts off a little crazy. So it does bring up this, like, religious difference in, like, relationships.
Do you think that that's real, or she's just trying to break up with George?
Interesting. And then it, like, how it ends, where she's, you know, I can't date you because I'm leaving the country.
Do you think that's real? Maybe not.
Maybe if you're going to convert for someone,
you should tell them.
Run it by them once.
I think when he said he was going to surprise her, I'm like, wouldn't she want to be there? Wouldn't she be so thrilled for your conversion? Also,
how many Latvian Orthodox churches are there in, I don't know, Queens?
When his conversion, it seemed to be a packed house. So if she's devout and her parents are, where were they?
Yeah. Have you ever dated someone that had a different religion than you and it caused problems and strife?
Yeah.
Really? Me?
That's why you had to convert. No, I didn't think it would, but it wasn't a problem for my parents. I think my mom thought it would be a problem for her parent, for Baba.
You're talking about me still?
No. And then I insisted on continuing to date him out of spite, saying, like, you know, you can't let religion get in the way. Like, this is stupid. I really should have just let them win that one because he was not good. But, yeah, it did get in. It came up. You?
No.
Well, your family's not religious.
No.
And mine wasn't really either, but
I mean, George's family also, well, in this context, they aren't religious, and it's the
girl, lady, woman.
I was trying to think of the dater, the datee. What is
the woman that he's dating?
The woman that he's dating's parents.
Yeah. Again, we don't know. I have a feeling
she's using this all as an excuse to get some free lobster.
Yeah. Because through her shrieks and sobs, she orders the lobster.
So, as a waiter, would you come up to this table with this woman crying? I always feel, you know how, like, the waiters always do the check-in? Like, oh, hey, how's all the food doing?
Yeah.
100% of the time, I'm like, I have such bad luck. Whenever they come, I'm always, like, have, like, food in my mouth. And then I realize, like, I'm just, like, a disgusting pig and I'm eating, like, super fast. And, like, there's probably no second they could arrive at the table where I didn't have food going into my mouth.
Yeah.
So I always got to give them the and that thumbs up.
Maybe they do it on purpose so that if you were going to complain, you can't.
That's a veteran move.
You just do a little flyby. How you doing? All right. Okay. Bye. I've never waited tables. Have you?
No.
Someone who's waited tables, let us know. Is that what you do? So I was going to bring up that I had an argument with the professor I worked for when I was in Omaha. So he was Greek, and it came up that my mom sang in a choir. And I said, oh, And he was very religious. So I was going to, when I got home, I was going to mail him some CDs of my mom's choir singing the liturgy and, you know, stuff. And we were talking about church, and I said, yeah, it's the Ukrainian Catholic Church. And he's like, you mean Orthodox? I'm like, no, it's the Ukrainian Catholic Church. He's like, but Ukrainians are Orthodox. I'm like, I've been forced to go to this Catholic church for 25 years. I think I know the difference between Orthodox and Catholic Church. And I'm pretty sure I like left his office and Googled it just in case I was being gaslit. I'm like, yes, there is a Ukrainian Catholic Church that I was forced to go to for 25 years. And then we butted heads. He didn't like me after that.
Ukrainian Catholics, are those the one that go around mutilating squirrels? Get my lawyer on the phone. Maybe we can get you out of this. One of the times you dragged me to church, the priest went on and on about how...
Did I drag you? Or was someone getting married? Or like...
I wasn't dragging you. That's all I'm going to say. And the priest went on and on about how the Ukrainian Catholic Church is they're earlier than the Roman Catholic Church, and everything that the Roman Catholic Church did, they learned from the Ukrainian Catholic Church.
I remember this. This was my friend's wedding.
And then he went on a rant about gay marriage during the ceremony.
Was this the same time that he said, like, go forth and have lots of Catholic children, it's your duty? Oh, gross.
He was talking about how theirs is a good marriage because they can have children.
Yeah. They suck.
Have you ever gotten takeout in a tinfoil swan?
No.
Changing the subject. I've never gotten that either. How come? Do places not do that anymore?
I've seen it now on Seinfeld, and I saw it on Archer. I have not seen it in real life. I thought it was a Chinese restaurant thing.
So did I. For whatever reason, George wants to pursue this relationship, and so he's decided to convert. And he says stuff like, I thought about converting. Why not? What do I care? And I could probably do this. What's the difference?
Pretty much. I mean, if you're not a practicing anything, like, what do you care if you're...
You'd be a non-practicing Latvian Orthodox?
Yeah, exactly.
Or Latvian Orthodoxian?
I'm not sure what they're called. Orthotic? And it's a podiatry episode. See, it all ties in. Anyone can get into podiatry school.
George got into podiatry school.
I like how in the next scene, Jerry says, how'd you get in? Little tie-ins when George is laying on his couch. You don't see Jerry smooching a lot until this episode.
We've seen him make out before.
A little, but there was a lot of smooching.
I guess Kimberly Campbell couldn't keep her hands off him.
Loud smooching.
Until the fungus.
Do you peek in the cabinet?
Not as like a habit. I definitely have peeked in people's cabinets, but I'm going to say probably 25% of the time I'll look in a cabinet. And I think it depends on how obvious
it would be.
No, how obvious the cabinet is.
Oh.
Like if it's like, I don't know, a mirror or something. Maybe I'm just like easily deceived. That like, if it's, you can't really tell, oh, like, you know, it's a medicine cabinet, then I wouldn't look in it. But if it's like clearly a medicine cabinet, it invites the look. It's asking to be looked in, frankly.
If it's not hiding itself well enough.
If it's not a good, conservative, valued medicine cabinet, it's got, I don't know.
It's got its tubes hanging out.
Prophylactics in there. It's got, I didn't know if I should say prophylactics or prophylactic wrappers. You laughed at, like, when they were sitting around, Jerry talking to Elaine and Kramer just, like, one-lining, like, fungi.
Yeah. Jerry goes, what could she have? Fungus. And Elaine goes, I trust people not to do that. I do it. I did laugh at Kramer.
You laughed out loud, quite loud.
He's very well confused in this episode. I, for the record, probably wouldn't look in the cabinet unless I was trying to figure out someone's deal. You know?
What's this person's deal? Instead of talking to them, I better go look in their medicine cabinet.
Well, like Jerry says at the end, it reveals our weaknesses. Oh, Mr. Fabulous here needs the...
tough actin tenactin.
What I mean is, like, I don't as a habit go to someone's bathroom and be like, opening the drawers and stuff.
You don't knock on their door and then immediately say, can I use their bathroom?
Yeah. But everyone's got weird friends, and so if you're at their house and you're like, well, I gotta see what's in here. Like, I have to complete this picture. But if it's one of those really old mirror cabinets, I'd worry that it would, like, fall off its hinges or something, then they'd know.
Yeah.
So I gotta be pretty confident that it won't look like I looked in the medicine cabinet.
If that happened, you say, your medicine cabinet was slightly open, I was closing it, and it fell off.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. You're trying to protect their privacy.
There was a tube of fungal cream hanging out, and I was trying to slowly nudge it back in without looking. Question. What is going on with cake in this episode? George comes to Jerry's house.
With the cake?
Pulls out a cake, flops it on the counter, cuts himself a piece, and eats it with his hands. And nobody discusses it.
What else are you supposed to do? They're probably writing the scene and are like, well, like, what's George doing while he's talking? They're like, I don't know, he's eating the cake.
Why couldn't he pour himself a Pepsi? And then Elaine is eating cake with the podiatrist.
Maybe there was somebody's birthday on set while they were filming, and they were like, oh, I gotta get rid of these cakes.
These multiple different cakes.
So, there must be some aspect of the religion that appeals to you. I think the hats.
I wrote down the hats. These are pretty spectacular hats.
The whole getup, really.
I know.
If it was made of velvet, could you imagine?
Oh.
It's a look. I would drape myself in velvet if it were socially acceptable.
My buddy from Dungeons and Dragons put on a velvet cape while we were playing the other day, and he looked very comfortable and stylish.
You see, that's LARPing. It's completely distinct and different from tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons and Dragons.
Such as what?
Such as Dungeons and
Such
Dragons.
as Dungeons and
Such
Dragons.
as Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons.
You're going to have to leave in all these things you normally edit out to make me sound smart.
Why does the nun give Kramer toys?
It's these animal magnetism.
Like literally a puppy?
He picked up on a vibe. Well, she's around the nunnery. What else does she have? She doesn't have anything to give him. She's got a slinky. And give it to this guy she's trying to get with.
She could go get him some fruit.
That'd be nice.
I looked up Kavorka. It's not a real word.
I wonder how much of the imagery is like actually accurate because the writer didn't know that it was a real religion.
Oh, I'm sure by the time they're filming it, they're like, well, we'll put the right hats on them.
Well, really? I don't know.
I think Orthodox, they have that big black hat.
But is that just a stereotype that some Orthodox churches and Latvian Orthodox churches don't?
I don't know. I'm sure they would have written it in their letters if they got the hats wrong.
I guess they wouldn't have been so happy if it was like...
Yeah. Yes, Father.
I think, like, I like that line, but also, why is it in there?
I don't know. It's a little absurd.
Yeah.
I didn't really write anything else.
I have some stuff from, like, before the conversion ceremony where, like, George not realizing the amount of work it would take to join the Latvian Orthodox Church, he said just, just make a donation.
He wants the express conversion.
And then he has to take a test. I can't believe they're making me take a test, which he just writes on his hand.
Why doesn't he read the books in his room? I assume he has a bedroom with a lock on it. Why is he in the bathroom like the kid in Christmas Story using his...
Because he has to hide.
Little Orphan Annie decoder ring.
The entire time I was thinking of the the sound reel on Instagram. Drugs.
What are you
I'm
doing
doing
in there?
drugs.
Yeah.
Why was Elaine wearing glasses when she was making out with the podiatrist?
I wrote that too.
And then she, like, mid-makeout takes them off? Like, why would she have them on at all?
Yeah. That was weird. I wrote that down.
And so the fungicide cream, which, Jerry's never sure who it belongs to, I think you can pretty clearly see that it has like a pharmacy's label printed on it. So he should be able to figure out.
However, does the pharmacy have the pet's name on it or the person's name on it?
Well, we definitely got pet medicine with our pet's name on it from the pharmacy.
But then one time I tried to renew it by the phone and they asked me for the birthday on file. I was like, I don't know when my dog's birthday is. And they're like, well, we have to verify that you're allowed to get this medicine. And I'm like, I don't know. January 1st, 1970? She's like, oh, okay. Because that's the date I give.
Default date.
That's the beginning of Unix time. So that's the birthday I give for everything. Yes, my dog is 56 years old.
This checks out. The only other thing that I wrote down was about how Jerry and George are talking about how they aren't sure if it's her fungicide. And, you leave tons of old stuff in your medicine cabinet. And Jerry's like, yeah, I got some old cough medicine in there. And George says, I still have Brill cream.
Yeah, we both laughed.
Which is funny because he's bald, but also because Brill cream is such an old-timey hairstyling product.
You know what?
You can still buy it.
You can still buy it. I was looking for some other hair product when I was in Ireland as a teenager. And it was like Brill cream only at this little, rural pharmacy.
Their slogan was a little dabble, do you, right?
I think so.
Yeah. There's a line in Scrubs, and it was, you've got your head up his ass so far you can taste Brill cream at the back of his throat. Think about that.
Often?
Daily.
Scrubs cast. I think it's only fair that we do a show that I've seen all of next, and that you haven't. But I can't think of one.
We could do Lost. We could do Fringe. Watched it recently. It still holds up.
Again, it's not like I'm avoiding TV. I just haven't seen any of these shows.
We could do Scrubs. We could do Frasier.
Okay, no, I've seen every Frasier. It was on after The Simpsons.
Well, we have 3 more years to figure this out.
Okay. Oh, my first correction is about Scrubs. It's on Disney+.
There you go.
So I found a place where you can browse the TV Guide archives, including the fall preview. We were talking about replacing the Netflix synopsis with the TV Guide one. I chose one that had Jerry Seinfeld on the cover. It was from 1995. The description is just as long as Netflix, but it has some ambiguity, so it doesn't give it all away. Plus, it lists the guest stars.
Cool. It's basically this podcast written down. We just get that and read it into a microphone.
Starting in season 6, I could do that instead of the Netflix one. But another TV Guide had an article about Seinfeld, and I think this was a little later than that. It goes, Seinfeld has been the object of increasing scrutiny from devotees who think the characters have gotten more obnoxious, the jokes forced. On the Seinfeld-related bulletin board on the internet, computer-literate fans have spent much of this season chiming in with harsh assessments. Kramer is overused and not funny. Perhaps the producer should watch some old episodes. I hope the show can save itself, and if it cannot, then it should be pulled off the air to spare itself from crashing and burning even more than it already has. The show has not been consistently funny for about a season now.
Interesting. So that's 95, you
95.
said? So that would be in 2 seasons, so season 7.
Yeah.
Huh.
Would you agree that at season 7 it hasn't been funny for...
I need to do some research just to remember the exact timelines, because I think season 7, Larry David leaves.
Oh.
It's his last season. So maybe it's like he got burnt out or he exhausted all of his ideas. And
I see.
I don't know. Well, we'll talk about that when we get to there.
I guess. So I looked up, I think a Big Mac is $6 by itself.
It's a lot of money.
So the $3 Big Macs from the hockey game, if you like Big Macs, was a good deal. But you can get a Big Mac without meat for $5. What is it?
It's just bread and lettuce and sauce?
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good.
For $5.
That's expensive.
Why? And we were talking about the Raptors and the pizza slices. They used to have score a slice at 100 points. Now it's more complicated. You were right. You said if the opposing team misses a free throw on the 4th quarter, you score a slice. The Leafs have it too. If they score first in the first period. And so did the Habs, but who cares? So I Googled younger Al Roker because I didn't recognize him in the last episode. And there's a video called The Transformation of Al Roker. So I clicked it thinking it's going to be like still image morphing into, you know, when he was heavier, then he got skinny and older. It was an 11-minute video.
It sounds pretty long to talk about how a guy lost weight.
I didn't watch it, but he still does the weather on NBC.
I have 2 corrections. I don't know what the first one means that I wrote down. I wrote down IKEA joke. Oh, now I remember. You didn't get the IKEA joke.
No, about declaring yourself a church?
Yeah. So instead of having to declare yourself a church, you could go out to IKEA to save money because declaring yourself a church saves you money.
Yeah, because you don't pay taxes.
Yeah, it's the joke.
I did get it.
Oh. From how you were talking about it in the podcast, it seemed as though you didn't get the joke.
I thought it was like a Scientology reference or something.
Yeah, I don't think so. The other omission that I had is we were talking about dating somebody in jail and how that would be in the episode coming up in the next few seasons where one of the characters dates a person in prison. Who do you think it is?
George.
I guess we'll have to wait and see. So I kind of forgot that was a storyline in the TV show that we're watching. But I remembered.
The next episode is The Stall. Remember this one?
Haven't got a spare to square. I haven't got a square to spare. Can't spare a square.
Or square a spare. Well?
Is that a bowling term?
Bye-bye.
Bye. Believe it or not, this is our podcast. Please subscribe at the end. If you subscribed, we would be happy. Please subscribe to us. Believe it or not, it's our podcast.
Is that a Seinfeld reference?